of cost. They are also the pledges of money, okay? And there's money from various envelopes, if you want. Normally, we have had the national indicative programs under the European Development Fund. You have pledges by some countries to dedicate a certain portion of that to EPA implementation. The regional indicative program has been expanded. The region has decided of its own accord that 30% of that would be used for EPA implementation. We got a separate amount, I think the amount is 35 million euros, as a sort of reward for having completed the EPA, full comprehensive year. No other region has got that. There's aid for trade funding. We're talking about 2 billion to the ACP as a whole. My argument is that we are on the inside track to be able to access that for the very simple reason that we have not only completed an agreement, but we have completed an agreement that stipulates precisely what we want under the various headings.
The EPA offers the possibility beyond the traditional cooperation programs that we have by the European Development Fund to participate for CARIFORUM countries and CARIFORUM actors also in certain inner European promotion programs. For example, there is a program for innovation, in certain programs for research, and in certain regional development and cross-border development programs as well, which is very interesting, I think, in particular for cultural activities, for cultural joint ventures, and so on.
Indeed, the scope given to CARIFORUM countries for accessing European innovation is one of the unique aspects that sets the EPA apart from other agreements.
What we have tried to do is link creativity to innovation, to competitiveness, to level of development, to intellectual property commitments. And one of the ways we have found to do that is to tie innovation to intellectual property. You'll notice we say innovation and intellectual property are not intellectual property and innovation, because it is the innovation that comes first for us is more important, okay? And there are commitments there for them to help us in innovation in a number of areas we have identified, and to get access to European innovation systems. Now, you're not going to see that in any other agreement.
The EPA ensures that CARIFORUM countries treat each other no less favorably than they will the EU. For the CARIFORUM countries, the power of many unleashed as one offers the best chance at making the most of the opportunities inherent in the EPA.
When we're talking about the Caribbean, we're talking about very small economies that on their own cannot survive. They will survive a lot better, they will grow together a lot better if they work together in a regionally integrated system. We know a little bit about regional integration in the community because we're the big granddaddy of regional integration. So we're trying to use a little bit of that experience and sprinkle it into the Caribbean. Fortunately, the region itself is a long way down that track with the CARICOM. The big challenge, of course, is integrating the Dominican Republic into all of that.
The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association are all in favor for accelerating the process of the CARICOM single market and the economy. For the most part, it has been moving at snail's pace. The Economic Partnership Agreement in some aspects may force us to accelerate this process, but this should be viewed as a good thing. Harmonization of our policies, fiscal measures, monetary measures, these are only measures that would take us into an environment that would facilitate growth and development. So for all intents and purposes, the CSME, acceleration of the CSME, widening the CSME, deepening the CSME process can and should only be viewed as a good thing for us in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider CARICOM region.
With a 25-year time horizon before CARIFORUM opens up fully to the EU, CARIFORUM's private sector and governments can benefit immediately with technical and financial support in a number of areas. Competitiveness, trade facilitation, investment in trade-related infrastructure, policy harmonization, legislative reform, tax reform, research and development. For the people of the Caribbean, adaptability to change has been a way of life. As the objects of history 5 centuries ago, we were created by the forces of change as the Industrial Revolution revved up the engines of transatlantic trade. Today, as new global forces blow across the Caribbean Sea, we have the chance to become the subjects of our own history by harnessing those forces to propel ourselves into a new era of opportunity and independence.
We know that the private sector sees EPA as a lot of a challenge, and it is a challenge.